Hey guys, Stocky here for Snowball Esports, and I am joined by the proud winner of our Stage 2 Oceanic Nationals MVP for the regular season, Jigsaw from Bliss. First of all, how you going, mate?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, look, not too bad. Obviously, you would be a little bit sorry for yourself after the grand final loss to the Chiefs. It was a little bit of a disappointing end to the season for you guys, losing 3-1. Um,
Hmm.
I would like you to walk me through that series because you guys came out really strong on Cafe, and then it kind of fell away from there.
Um, Look, honestly, I think Cafe is just one of our strongest maps, and I don't think there was much to VOD for them because obviously they spent a lot of time VODing us and getting their counter strats going, which is good. They want to win, obviously. We didn't really go that too deep into it, which we probably should have if we really wanted to win, which we did, but we didn't take that extra step, which we probably should have. But um, yeah, it was that generally, like they just played extremely well, honestly, and Worthy was just going crazy like he usually does. And yeah, look, we just showed our weaknesses, and they picked up our weaknesses from obviously the hours they put into VOD us and see what we did, and they just were able to go through us. It showed a lot on Oregon as well. Like Oregon was one of our like longer played maps, if you know what I mean. Like we had
Mm.
a max over time, so there was a lot to pick up there.
Yep.
And they just obviously took all of that and were able to see exactly what we did because we didn't change anything. We just kept playing how we usually played. So yeah, that props to them. They just played extremely well and were extremely ready as well.
Mm. I do want to highlight that matchup between you and Worthy because I'm pretty sure right now we can pretty much definitively say that you and Worthy are the two best fraggers in OCN right now. What's it like facing him?
Um, I think he's a good player. I'm not really like scared of anyone, so it's like I'm not really worried if I'm up in a gunfight against him. Like I'll swing anyone. I'm just confident enough in my own ability. Like in his eyes, probably thinks he's the better player, which is good. In my eyes, I think I'm the better player, which is just like a confidence thing. Like it's just I'm not really worried about anyone else. Like the more you're worried about it, the harder it's going to be to win that gunfight. You don't really see anyone else as like a oh, this gunfight's probably going to go in their favor. You just always should be thinking it's going to go in my favor. So
Yep.
obviously, I know he's like a very competent player, but yeah, it's nothing too worrying for me.
Mm. And I do want to like touch on a little thing that was brought up on the broadcast a little bit was the difference between a BO1 series, which you guys have been crowned, I guess, the kings of in OCE, versus a BO5, which is basically new territory for you and a lot of the lads because they didn't make it that far through the first gauntlet. Was that an impact in how you guys played in the finals?
Um, Honestly, I don't think stamina was really like that anything bad for us because we usually double scrim, so we scrim in the day and at the night. So stamina is not really a problem for us. I think it was just more that like um, they just took the time to see what we did and they changed their structuring around that and were able to counter exactly what we did, which was like the major thing I'd say. Like obviously they played extremely well either way, but they knew exactly what we were going to do and were able to just take advantage of that, obviously. And obviously with the BO1s, it's kind of different because it's just that one singular map, and
Mm.
that there's usually going into the season, they don't really have anything on us and no one has anything on us. So it's like purely just based upon how you're playing at that certain day. So for us, that's probably why we were so good at best of ones is no one had seen anything on us and we were able to just play extremely aggressive because no one would expect it, and we were able to use our gunfights and our gun skill, which is probably one of our highest like skills in that team, is being able to take those gunfights and win them and get aggressive with that. And that's just what makes us a good best of one team.
Mm.
Obviously over time I think we'll get better at the longer paces. Like I said, the stamina isn't really a thing. It's just more so being able to adapt and change our strats and have more things to do instead of just doing that one thing over and over again. I
Mm.
think that's what really got us in the end. But yeah, that's about it, really.
Yeah, look, that's enough dwelling on the grand final. I really want to talk about your absolutely scintillating regular season. You had MVP performances in 4 out of your 7 games, 1.72 KDR, 81 kills, 2 clutches. Like the numbers are just through the roof. Basically top of every stat in OCN. And we got glimpses of this while you're on LFO, but I feel like on Bliss it really brought you to life. So like, how has the change of team impacted the way that you can play?
Well, basically, so obviously being like an extremely decent fragger, like not to be cocky, but it's you can always be able to pull through, get frags. Like on LFO, obviously it was a lot different because the team wasn't as competent as Bliss. So obviously it's a lot different. I felt like on LFO was that I was always a little bit lost in terms of where I could go and do things because we weren't really structured in that way. Well, that's a different thing with Bliss is that we're so like competent and confident in our own like ability and knowing what each other are doing that we're able to go off and do our own things and know that if we need to fall back on something, someone else can help us, or those like structured rooms or those abilities to be able to make sure we're able to get a frag or two and come back to site or even die just as long as we get that. So that's a major thing that was different in LFO was just that the team competency was a lot different. So there's a lot more enabling on Bliss. Like Todd's on Pulse a lot of maps where he gives me info and I'm able to run around and run at those heartbeats. Just a lot more info and a lot more team play enabling me. So that's what really strives for me to be able to do a lot is just to be able to know that my team's backing me up and they're giving me and feeding me all this intel. Just a lot more enabling on Bliss is what I'm trying to say is what
Yeah.
was on LFO.
I
So
mean, it's
yeah,
like you're being given the tools to succeed, which is obviously like
yeah,
everyone sees like the highlights of your massive KD and your kills and all
mm,
this fancy stats, but when it comes down to it, it's only because you've got the guys on cams and the guys on the
yeah,
intel
exactly.
gathering ops that you can actually go and make these plays.
Yeah, exactly. I tried to explain to people like I think Todd was 0-8 on our cafe game against Wildcard at some point, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, Todd really needs to pick up his weight." And it was like a lot of people don't realize is that he was just sitting on Pulse feeding me info. Like he wasn't the one who was like going around going for the frags. He was the one feeding me intel. Like obviously he has no assists, but if there was like a scanner assist, he would have been up there. Like a lot of people don't realize that just because like your KD isn't higher doesn't mean you're doing anything. Like he's a support player for a reason. He's supporting me and enabling me. So yeah.
Hmm. And obviously, it's your second OCN season. Have you learnt anything major from being on Bliss this season?
Um, I'd say our team play is a lot better than I've come across in any team. We're just extremely happy to be around each other. We don't really like argue or anything like that. So it's learned a lot about what structures a team and why we played so well is just like I've just learned like why that is and how the team does so well is just because we're happy to be there and um yeah, that's pretty much it. Like we're just happy to be there and our team play, learning how to like be a team and all of that stuff is like just thrown me through the roof with skill, and I'm a lot more confident now because I've just learned, you know, what's the like the min maxing of plays and stuff like that.
Hmm. And now, obviously, the big question now is looking ahead into stage three and beyond, which is 2022 for you guys and a potential spot in APAC South. Obviously, the relegation battle between you and Rufflecopter trying to fight for, places or seeding or however the format's going to be, it is a big factor. And you guys pulled ahead this season. Are you guys confident that you could make APAC South for relegations?
Definitely, I feel like at the moment Ruffle aren't in the best spot. There's obviously a lot of rumors of going around of things happening in that team that I can't really say, but I'm completely confident that we will take that South spot and strive in that league as well. Do the best that we can there.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm extremely confident about that.
How do you like put yourself against like some of the bigger international gunners? Like Speakeasy had a huge season for Invictus, and like obviously there's like Napew. You get more exposure against the APAC teams generally, not just South but even North.
Yeah.
Do you think you can actually stack up with the heavyweights?
Yeah. Look, we've scrimmed a lot of those teams before, and I've been putting in mostly the same results. Like being able to gun against them, that's not really that much of a stress. Just the only problem is that sometimes the ping gets to you, but that's just a mental thing. You just got to get through it because obviously you're on 100 ping, and sometimes they're on like 70 or 80 as well, which makes it like even worse. But you just got to keep playing,
Mhm.
just play a little bit different because when you're playing against those teams, you can sometimes tell the round's going to end in around 30 seconds anyway because they're so aggressive and so fast. Some of them just do it so well. It's pretty crazy, but we're pretty confident.
Yeah. And look, mate, before I can let you go, I've got to ask you about all those juice boxes that are behind you. What are they?
It's my fuel. That's what I'm drinking. That's what makes me go crazy.
Is that the kind of stuff I need to be drinking if I want to drop 20 in a game?
Definitely. That's the power. It's all the power. That's where I get it all. That's all my energy.
I could see like a few flavors there. If you were to recommend one to me, which one should I be drinking?
Sunshine Punch, light blue, brilliant.
All right,
Always gets me going.
that's like screw the Red Bulls. That's the way to go. Is the Sunshine Punch
Definitely,
juice? All right, mate. I'm
definitely.
taking that to for my next rank sesh. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Jigsaw, for the chat. Congratulations on
Cheers.
winning the season MVP and best of luck in stage 3.
Thank you, thank you.
And for more OCN content, be sure to check out snowballesports.com.